Hi, LinkedIn. I hope all is well. This is Daisy here once again, just providing some insight and tools and tips into the coming changes to our economic structure as well as corporate America. So, a lot of you guys are seeing different companies posting online talking about mass layoffs 20%, 30%, 40%, whole entire teams being dissolved, and a lot of people looking for jobs. I've even seen some of these photo covers saying I'm hireable and things like that, and different things like alumni groups, spreadsheets being created, Google Drives and whatnot of candidates and whatnot for you guys to hire. Now, one of the things that I want you guys to be aware of is I've been talking about this virtual reality simulation that had gotten started when Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez released Department of Defense software called BBS-3 that on one hand is privatized and on one hand is being used by the government to train military servicemen. She released this technology to Matt Haney and some staff members at the California Endowment in an effort to utilize it on individuals to silence them and gang stalk them and harass them. There's a lot of studies that show that this virtual reality is actually very lethal, and prolonged use of virtual reality actually induces things like coma, mental illness, sickness, and so much more, permanent fatigue, organ failure, etc. There's a lot of information about that. There was a lot of tech companies that got pulled in because of who these individuals were attached to, because of what they saw happening in that simulation, because the simulation ended up not going as planned, and we can all speak to each other. So imagine all of the leaders from all the different companies and all the politicians and all the world leaders like Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin, and then you have the whole hood that got uploaded, the whole entire social service system, all the different companies and random people getting pulled in and uploaded to this virtual reality simulation, and we can all speak to each other, right? It was a great place where people were using this as an opportunity to network and meet each other, but people were also using it to facilitate and organize very sinister things. What's happening now is that it is finally coming out after 9 months, right, of illegally placing several people, mainly people of color, into virtual reality to gang stalk and harass and target us. And these individuals are being let go from their positions because all their investors are pulling out, their companies are going under, and there's going to be a lot of changes to the technology and chemistry and energy and environmental sector, and they are not going to be able to keep up. So their investors are pulling out now because of the new technology that we're building behind the scenes with our coalition. So what's happening is you see a whole bunch of people getting laid off and people looking for jobs. One thing that I want you to be really mindful of in your hiring process, especially for recruiters, because some of these people brought lawsuits to their job. They brought raids to their former employer. They brought lawsuits, investigations to their former employer. You need to be careful as they're transitioning into their position at your company, because they're going to bring that with them. And whiteness, mainly the white mind, is a liability. Sellout culture is a liability at this point in time. So when you're interviewing these people, I want you to ask, why did you leave your former job? Did you get laid off? Did you get fired? Or did you leave? Why did you leave? Double check with the company as well. There's some people who are going around and spreading a spreadsheet of individuals to absolutely not hire. I implore you to go ahead and find that. If you need that, just, you guys know how to contact me and I'll go ahead and send that to you. We've been sending it out to a lot of people. There's a lot of individuals who have been very diligent about uploading the information about what happened at their former company to background checks. Checker is no longer a reliable source, and Uber is actually looking for a new company to work for background checks as we speak, because of what was going on and how they were actually involved in having a lot of these individuals, their background checks edited. So people did not know actually who they were when they were coming into these companies, stealing patented information, trademarked information, private information, tampering with the security of the company, and bringing liabilities to the company, right? So that's one of the things that you want to ask. As a recruiter, you may want to hire your friend. Oh yeah, you lost your job, but how did you lose your job? Were you involved in the incessant screaming and chanting for 9 months straight into the ears of dozens of people of color who are high-level executives, developers, business owners, entrepreneurs, teachers, etc.? Or did your company lay you off because you were part of like the group of people who got laid off because they lost a bunch of money because their investors pulled out and did not want to get sued, or targeted by the SEC, who's also involved in having a lot of these companies docked, or Department of Justice or FBI? You have to ask those type of questions, right? Because you don't want your company to end up getting involved in workplace harassment suits and different lawsuits that are coming down, because there's going to be a huge class action lawsuit because of what happened, and it's currently being orchestrated as we speak. one of the things that you guys also need to think about as HR is how do you deal with these type of things? How do you deal with these type of like conversations? There's fist fights happening in tech companies. People go downstairs to go have lunch and they're fighting in the food hall because some of the white staff and developers are uploading black and brown staff and screaming into their ear, you beaner, you nigger, you fat, black, bitch, and it's causing a lot of drama and chaos, right? They're doing a lot. So as somebody who works in HR, how can you account for this as you're just trying to hire people and make sure that your company is running smoothly? And this is why there's been like mass layoffs, because a lot of these companies were getting huge suits filed against them from the, what is that? I think it's called the Economic Opportunity Department, or it's like basically like some department that they have in every state and the federal level that makes sure that as an employee you're being treated properly. And this is one of the reasons why Activision has that huge lawsuit right now. Activision is also one of the companies that was involved, and Gavin Newsom got caught trying to what was the word, tamper with that lawsuit, where Activision was sued by several of their female and POC employees for allowing them to be uploaded to virtual reality to be stalked, harassed, targeted, sexually assaulted, physically assaulted, and verbally assaulted for months on end, and did nothing about it because they thought that they were going to get some magical powers from me and my husband to erase everyone's memory, which I don't know where they got that from. But anyways, if you saw my website, you see the work we're doing, and yes, it's very innovative, right? The sky is the limit, literally. So one thing that you have to really think about here is, what am I willing to get involved in? How much am I really willing to lose? Do we really need this at our company? Let me look deeper into your background. Why did I say no yesterday, and then today I'm emailing you like, maybe you should come back? Because there's also a lot of manipulation and also bullying and things like that involved from some of these tech companies. Yeah, we fired a bunch of people, but we can still ruin your company's like reputation because you're a startup, right? So a lot of startups are being bullied as well. And some of you guys are coming into situations where your developers can't code anymore because of some of the things that they were doing. They were playing with different substances to be able to put themselves in a specific psychotic state in order to keep like stalking and harassing people and screaming in virtual reality. The virtual reality itself was backfiring and causing like psychosis and mental health problems. And now they're finding themselves in a position where there's a specific part of the brain that handles those type of functions, right? Because coding is really much about like logic, right? Logic, functions, yes or no, if and will statements, yes and no, true or false, those type of things, right? That's handled by the left brain. The right brain is more like operating in the spiral space, which is more about like our artistic expression, things that are free flowing, ideas, intuition, things like that, right? There's a specific part of the brain that is heavily impacted by overexposure to certain substances, as well as narcissism, as well as virtual reality, because of the overstimulation of the senses. So a lot of developers can't code, right? How do you account for that when you find your lead developer hiring somebody overseas, to finish their coding work, and then you're dealing with data breaches, which is happening now. There's a lot going on. Tech is going to completely change. So as time goes on, you need to really pay attention to what's being said here on my LinkedIn, which they're trying to close down, and what other people are talking about in during happy hours, workplace meetings, board meetings as well, because a lot of you guys know that some of your employees are going straight to the board because of some of the nonsense that's been going on. So I just wanted to put that out there. So just be very careful in the days, weeks, and months to come, because there's going to be a lot of changes in the tech industry. I will be doing some free series on my LinkedIn about what are some of the changes in tech to all the different industries. IoT is going to be no more. There's going to be new coding languages. If your developers don't know about the new coding language, which we are only going to be giving a few people, that is done. We've created a lot of tools where you don't need to spend weeks and weeks and weeks on lines of code. You can spend like 3 or 4 minutes and it's automated. There's a lot of stuff going on. Some people won't even need security teams because we'll have specific works that we can utilize where you don't need an individual there like monitoring and checking and this and that, and then they're allowing a bunch of fraudulent behavior and transactions onto your platform, which is then getting you sued, getting you raided, and getting you put in jail. So you need to really pay attention to what's happening right now and the different liabilities that companies are facing because their staff members just can't get it together. So that's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for listening to my video. I hope this resonates. I hope I can help. Please message me if you need anything. Once again, please check out layoffs.fyi. They're a great resource. They're a great ally. They're reporting on a lot of what's going on in the tech industry. Pay attention. It's more than what they're saying. And start asking questions. Start probing. Why were you released. It says here you were suspended before you were laid off. Why was that? What do you know about this? Show me you know how to code. Show me more. Keep delving. Keep asking questions. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.